In fact, when Jade and Tabitha enter those tunnels in the final moments, a combination of the episode's ever-changing tempo, the townspeople rushing to get ready to pull the tree, and the slow, creeping horror of those monsters making their way to the tarp, separating them from the chamber where the children are buried, all combine to make for more of a sense of dread than anything else we've seen so far. I was really beginning to freak out, but right as the black screen pulled up, I realized it was only the calm before. From Season 4, Episode 9 manages to simultaneously feel like just another mid-season episode, the beginning of something brand new, and also the end of everything. For me, the most awful moment, and agonizingly painful to watch, just the same, was when they managed to pull the big stone slab away, revealing the bones of the children. How they were buried with such sacrilege, almost as if they were packed up like a bunch of sardines and thrown haphazardly into the grave, speaks volumes about this ancient sacrifice, which immediately makes Jade and Tabitha's actions feel less like a desecration and more like a redemption to an age-old failure, as it is truly. A failure that keeps rewriting itself into the history of this town till this very hour, when they must, by all means necessary, force an escape. And the writers of the show do a really great job at it, once again. There are also some big surprises along the way, courtesy of the man in yellow. As it turns out, he or she or it, people are very sensitive about pronouns nowadays, so I just want to get it right, made a bargain with Clara when she arrived. And now payment is due in the form of taking a little special something to Fatma. As a reminder, Fatma's vital signs indicate she should very much be dead right now. But instead, she's doing perfectly normal things like working on jigsaw puzzles and going to bed at night when everyone else does. And all of this is happening after she connected with Smiley to save Kenny's life. Then, as so many people are urgently, anxiously awaiting the signal from Jade and Tabitha so they can pull the tree and get them out to safety with the bones, on Sarah's command, Elgin finds that old Polaroid of Sophia in town. The poor guy doesn't stop to think that maybe, in a place like this, it is normal to see stuff like that. And if it is normal, then it's actually paranormal in the real-world sense. And if it's paranormal, then maybe there's some danger attached to it, as always is, like it did when he saw the picture of the woman in the kimono. If you ask me, he hasn't learnt his lessons at all. So, here's another wrinkle. Just as Sophia seems more than just slightly upset to learn it's only Jade and Tabitha going into the tunnels, and not a whole crew, she may just be about to be exposed. Although the episode leaves that outcome open, you and I, after watching nearly 5 seasons of this level of horror-type shit, both know it can't exactly be good for Elgin. Basically, the man in yellow isn't done playing games with these people, but at the same time, they are not done trying to win what may very well be an unwinnable fight. And with so much at stake and so many questions left unanswered, the wait for the season's finale is going to feel like it's way longer than only a week. So let's take a moment to break down everything this episode revealed. Don't forget to smash that like button so YouTube can recommend this video to others. From Season 4, Episode 9 is just the right kind of penultimate episode for a season that has exposed so many brand new truths, all while making any viable answers or solutions feel farther away than ever before. After all, what do we actually know about what comes next? Everything and nothing at the same time. We've learned that this is supposed to be the man in yellow's favorite part of the story, and we know about his ability to turn into Sophia and others who have died in Fromville, as she rightly admitted by the end of this episode. There's also the full extent of his role in Miranda's death. Then, thanks to how badly Henry handled that information, we've also seen that a little drop of blood can go a long way to creating hallucinations of a much, much more comfortable alternate reality. Most importantly, we know the bones are the key to getting everyone out of here, but not exactly how that works. So I'll begin with Clara and wind back to the children's bones in the ending after a short while. Clara has been here all along, as revealed. Yeah, I was shocked too, but she's mostly seemed to just blend in. If anything, this certainly encourages a rewatch between seasons to know who this lady has really been all along. At any rate, once Sophia reveals her true nature to Clara, things get delightfully dark. There's that too innocent, fake nice way Sophia asks Clara if she knows who she really is, before leaning into the more sinister, maybe if you look closer. And although the fun Sophia has and the dynamics Julia Doyle brings to the character all just get better from there, in contrast, it all goes terribly from there for Clara. That knife behind Sophia's back, before the way too cheery "come on in," coupled with the dark moment, makes it easy to wonder if Clara's about to get stabbed. Which, well, she is. Just not to death. Katerina Bacolius sells Clara's frozen horror. She's in over her head, she knows it, and no matter how much distance she may try to put between herself and the entity that now basically owns her, Clara knows she has two options here. Do as Sophia says, or perish, slowly and painfully, which means she has no options left at all. After the blood ritual that Sophia, on the other hand, gets a lot of pleasure out of, Clara has to deliver that thermos to Fatma with the mixed blood in it. When Fatma initially puts the drink aside without trying it, her disappointment is only outdone by how she responds when Fatma actually does take a sip. Because, well, now whatever evil deed the man in yellow needed her for is done. To someone like Fatma, who's only ever been seen as kind and supportive by pretty much everyone. This is the price of making a deal with the devil to save your own skin. Clara learns that the hard way from Season 4, Episode 9. And yet, she doesn't really learn, does she? I mean, nobody asks her to go gossip about the change in plans. But no matter how afraid she is when she does, she finds Sophia and tells her only Jade and Tabitha are going to retrieve the bones. The newest episode also sees Henry continuing to visit that vision world. This time, his imaginary counterpart is able to sit up and eat a burger and fries, while the otherworldly version of Victor presses him to eliminate his anchor to Fromville. But even inside the comfort of a world that feels so much nicer and offers him things like a living daughter, a son who was never traumatized, and even a grandson, Henry can't fathom hurting any version of Victor. He gets so very agitated when Victor asks him about the anchor, stuttering his way through half-formed thoughts, before eventually getting out a firm "I can't." But the other version of Victor is too calm, too happy, and seems very much unbothered by his dad's sense of being torn apart. Basically, he doesn't get it, or in a more sinister way, he doesn't care. Not even when Henry explains it in the clearest, most emotional terms possible. Because it's you. Victor, you're the anchor. You're the anchor. You're what's keeping me there. So, the doctor wants me to eliminate you? To kill you? No. Henry's struggle is nonstop, and even when he seems like he might actually consider getting rid of the fake version of his son, he just can't bear it. It's like everything in him is breaking at the mere thought. Notably, a reassuring squeeze to his arm, at the diner table, is met with Henry recoiling and trying to pull that hand away. He fails, and eventually gives up, but he tries at first. So it's evident that some part of Henry's mind still doesn't believe Sophia's lie. It's as much of a shock to see this version in the visions as it is to then be thrown back into Fromville and hear our Victor calling out for his dad. It was very devastating for me to see him in all his PTSD form when, 3 frames ago, some version of him was just so unnaturally full of light and life. I mean, what kind of father wouldn't want that? So, you see, you can't even begin to blame Henry for it. Scott McCord shows an inhuman amount of rage in front of the bar after Victor confronts Boyd, Jade, and Kenny about the bottle tree strategy that gets him arrested by the sheriff. So let's back up. When Victor's up on that hill talking to his mom, it's a heartbreaking sort of parallel to Henry's visit in the previous episode. And as a surprise to no one, McCord is as much of a standout here as Joy was there. Every line is delivered with so much raw, deep pain. And every single time Victor pauses, closes those eyes, or opens them to train his gaze everywhere and nowhere at once, it's just one knife to the chest after another. There's a certain sense of awe, a dare to maybe hope, for a brief moment, on Tabitha says we're gonna go home. Then suddenly, Victor's quickly back to fully embodying his desperate concern for his dad. But what if he doesn't make it that long? He asks the empty space where his mom should be. And next, McCord reminds us all over again how long he was lonely and unable to learn how to connect with others. Victor is as normal as it comes, especially for someone who's been in Fromville for over 40 years. He's perfect just the way he is. If only his own father would see that, past his own shattered dreams and expectations. Anyways, before he can get everything off his chest, the boy in white appears and warns Victor about the bottle tree. As we build toward the end of episode 9, it's this warning and Victor's attempt to stop the tree's removal that suddenly brings the hour from just another From episode to, oh crap. This is almost the end of the season. Time to rip everyone and everything apart. Forget the monsters, the bottle tree, and the children's bones. Victor begging and screaming for Boyd and the others to listen to him, then being betrayed in the worst way, makes for some tense, urgent personal drama. To the end that Boyd can cuff Victor as he falls to his knees and wails like that. Shows just how much is at stake right now, and how much desperate people are willing to do whatever it takes to go home. When Victor's insistent that his friend told him not to cut down the tree, when he becomes increasingly stressed and fidgety, and when he raises his voice more and more, McCord is at his absolute best, as he's always brought a remarkable amount of commitment to the character. But those oh-so-insufferable wailing pleas for someone, or anyone, to listen as he's being arrested and understand he's trying to help you are simply out of this world. The man in yellow told us the people were going to rip themselves apart at one point. But I don't know if anything could confirm that more than everyone just standing there and watching as Victor is taken into custody like that. And oh, does it call to mind the many times law enforcement has used excessive force against neurodivergent people because they just fear and brutalize what they refuse to understand? A bit too real? In the end, Tabitha gets an epiphany from all 7 sacrificed children, pointing at her, immediately after Ethan tells her, "I think this place tries to make us afraid, so we won't believe in the things that can help us. All those things you remember, you should listen to what it's trying to tell you." So she rushes to Boyd in an attempt, first to investigate what's going on with Victor's arrest, and later to convince him into agreeing that only she and Jade, as weirdly inscribed on the talisman, can do this the right way. Initially, Sophia seemed unperturbed about the whole digging thing, knowing a handful of not-so-ritualistic friendly people were involved when she filled Clara in about it. Then there's the moment where Clara finds her, out of sheer fear for her own skin, as opposed to being forced, to gossip about the change of plans till Elgin comes, adding fuel to fire. So there's that, if you were wondering whether digging up the bones was the right thing to do or not. Turns out how things are done in Fromville are just as important as what is done. Conclusively, the consequence of pulling down the bottle tree is the only real danger we gotta worry about. Besides Jade and Tabitha's safety deep within the tunnels, though they have a talisman to protect them. But as Donna rightly pointed out, they haven't exactly been field tested yet from within that chamber. So if anything goes wrong, there goes our escape plan alongside it. And frankly speaking, I wouldn't be surprised if this cycle fails as well. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Catch you next time.